Welcome, boils and ghouls and creepy creatures of the night. Come a little bit closer so that I may tell you a tale. A tale of struggles for justice, a tale of terror. This is the tale of Wesley Everest. Born in Oregon in 1890, Wesley Everest was a drafted World War I veteran who spent much of his time in the Vancouver stockade for refusing to salute the American flag. Like many World War I veterans, Everest was a member of the IWW, the Industrial Workers of the World, a radical labor union. On April 30th, 1918, the IWW Union Hall, of which Wesley Everest was a member, was looted by local residents and thugs hired by the lumber companies during a Red Cross parade. The building was severely damaged, and a number of IWW members were dumped on the outskirts of town and warned never to return. All across the country, Union members were being arrested on sedition charges. The following year, there were rumors circulating among Union members that the lumber companies and local business leaders and the American Legion, a reactionary anti-communist military club who had frequent scuffles with the local IWW, were ready for a repeat of the 1918 incident and would use a parade celebrating the first anniversary of Armistice Day, now known as Veterans Day, as a cover. The day of the parade came, November 11th, 1919. During the parade, the American Legion were marching with rubber hoses, gas pipes, and nooses. They went off the parade path and into the IWW Union Hall and began ransacking it. Both sides had World War I veterans trained in combat, and the IWW were armed and ready for the attack, and 6 men were killed. Wesley Everest ran out the back door and was pursued by a mob. He allegedly killed Dale Humbert before being overpowered, beaten, and taken to jail. It was rumored that during the incident, Everest uttered the words, "I fought for democracy in France, and I'm going to fight for it here. The first man that comes into this hall, why, he's going to get it." This incident became known as the Centralia Massacre. That night, a mob descended on the jail where the IWW members were being held and cut the power. Everest was handed over to the mob by the jail's guards. Wesley Everest was taken to a bridge over the Chehalis River, where he was beaten and lynched and riddled with bullets. The next day, Everett's bloody hanging body was discovered by children walking to school. The mob returned, the rope was cut, and Everett's body fell to the river below. His body was left to lay at the bottom of the river overnight. The next day, Wesley Everett's bloody, beaten, waterlogged corpse was returned to the jail cell. He was left to lay on the jail cell floor with the rope still around his neck, in full view of the imprisoned IWW members. Later, his body was buried in the Pauper's graveyard. No one was charged with the crime, even though those involved in the lynching were well known in Centralia. 7 of the IWW members were sentenced to prison terms of 25 to 40 years. Okay, so this story might terrify you. To be honest, it terrifies me. The brutal, disgusting lengths these reactionaries will go, these capitalists will go to destroy the spirit and lives of working people, of oppressed people, corrupt police and courts, arming and funding violent reactionaries, the wealthy and powerful people of the world will do whatever it takes to brutally destroy those who fight against hierarchy and oppression. But this story gives me hope. Look around you. Don't you see it? A haunted presence buried in the hearts of all communists, all anarchists, all radicals, and it cannot be killed. The strength of oppressed people all over the world scares the living daylights out of those in power. The victories of radical labor, the victories of the IWW, the peace movement, the Chicano movement, the American Indian movement, the Black Power movement, the feminist movement, the LBGT plus movement, the environmental movement, the animal rights movement, the movements struggling for justice all over the world hold the haunted spirits and convictions of fallen comrades in their hearts, and these spirits cannot be killed. And some say, on dark nights like tonight, capitalists can hear in their hallowed halls of power the ghost, the specter of Wesley Everest declare, I fought for democracy, and I'm going to fight for it here. If you're interested in radical theory, looking for a book recommendation or whatever, you can get your radical reviews here with the Radical Review. Thanks for watching.
We shall not be moved just like a tree that's standing by the water. We shall not be moved. The Union is behind us. We shall not be moved. The Union is behind us. We shall not be moved.